a straight jacket portfolio. The primary school was at Lasrab Primary School, Okekuku. The secondary education was at Warri, Hussey College, Warri. And thereafter into the field of survival, working. I got engaged by the Lagos Town Council at the beginning of 1960. Moved to British Bank for West Africa later that year, and in 1962 I went back to college as one of the first set of technical college, Ibadan, which is now known as Polytechnic Ibadan. I was there for the 2 years, 1962, 63, and later joined Yaba College of Tech to secure a certificate, which the ND certificate, which assisted me to gain entrance, a scholarship to the Soviet Union for mechanical engineering. I moved to Soviet Union in 1967 and finished the program in the Soviet Union. I was in Moscow. I finished the program in 1973 with a master's degree in mechanical engineering with specialization in transportation, specifically transport technology. And I returned to Lagos. That was the end of the second phase of my education. And thanks to God and thanks to the government, then in existence in Lagos, the local government, that gave me the scholarship for the 2 years I spent at the Technical College Ibadan for the ND certificate, and for the 6 years I spent in Moscow paying my salary as a staff in training for 6 years. Hence, I came back into my office at the mechanical workshop, Ido Yard, which you call Ido Yard. That mechanical workshop is now is presently occupied by the Waste Disposal Board of the Lagos State. I worked with the local government, Lagos City Council now, until 1978, when the federal government established a transport organization called National Freight Company. The headquarters was at Kaduna, and the advertised posts for which they wanted to engage staff happened to be for mechanical engineers. I got appointed and transferred my service from Lagos mainland local government to National Freight Company under the Federal Ministry of Transport in Kaduna. I rose through the ranks in National Freight Company, mechanical engineer, deputy manager, assistant operations manager, and assistant general manager operations. When the Lagos Metro Line project was truncated, the military government in Lagos wanted to have new management for Lagos State Transport Corporation, starting from the general manager and the board. An advertisement was made, to which I applied and subsequently appointed. So I moved my service from federal government back to Lagos State in 1986 as the general manager of Lagos State Transport Corporation. And spent very well occupied 2 years on top of that corporation. I moved out in 1988 and went straight to farm, having been retired at the age of 47. And kept on the farm until sometimes when a friend of mine got to me to inform me that I am wanted in the World Bank in Washington for a special assignment. I got in touch with the World Bank and I was attached to a consultancy organization working for Lagos State government on transportation in Lagos. That was what brought me back from my farm, or to be specific, that what stopped me from being a farmer today. I did the assignment and resolved to do a PhD program. It is in the process of that World Bank assignment that I stumbled on a literature that indicated that you are not an expert in your field except to have a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy in your field. And I determined to have that PhD. Fortunately for me, Olabisi Onabanjo University, then known as Ogun State University, just started a center for Transport Studies. And the program is to award a master's degree in transportation and a doctorate degree in transportation. So I joined the program and finished and graduated in 2006 with a PhD. Immediately on my graduation, Lagos State University gave me an appointment as the director of the Center for Planning Studies. That was 2006. Coincidentally, Babatunde Raji Fashola became the governor of Lagos State at that time and wanted a Department of Transport to be established in Lagos State University. I was nominated to go along with 3 other people to US, United States of America, to go and do the foundation arrangements for the establishment of that school of transport in Lasrab. When the delegation came back, I was given the assignment to prepare the curriculum. I did that, took it to Lasrab Senate for approval to establish a school of transport in Lasrab. Senate approved and accordingly informed the governor. In response, the governor asked for our requirements to make sure the school gets into operation immediately. We needed a faculty building, and the governor approved the building of a complex for School of Transport in Lasrab. The complex was completed in 2014 and is still there. I left Lasrab 2013 and came back home, believing that I am fully retired at age 72. But again, I went back to academics, accommodating master's program for School of Transport students in my house. Those on part-time for master in transport planning. They will come here once in a week. That is a whole Saturday they spend with me here. The number varies from between 30 and 40. I prepared an accommodation hall for them, and they will stay here between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I did that until 2019. Another 6 years extra teaching postgraduate students in my house. Then I think it was enough. And that was it. From my movements in life, I have been opportuned to be at the desk of managing transportation at 3 different levels. At Lagos City Council, I happen to manage refuse collection, which is better known as solid waste transportation. At National Freight Company, I had been opportuned to manage freight transportation, which is better known as dry and wet cargoes. And at LSCC, I was opportuned to manage passenger transportation, human beings. In effect, my experience about transport management is large and varied, and I can confidently say I had pleasant moments at all the stages. Therefore, transport management, in summary, is to ensure availability of fleet to move your consignments, be it solid waste, be it dry cargo or wet cargo, or be it commuters on the road. And the ball stops on the general manager's desk to ensure prompt arrival of fleet, buses, trailers, tankers, waste disposal vehicles at the point required, and to deliver those products to the appropriate places promptly, be it the commuters going to work, be it the dry cargo moving from the wharf to the factory, be it the wet cargo moving from the oil depots to petrol station, or the solid waste moving from your houses, being moved from your houses to the dumping site effectively. That's all that is meant on transport management at different stages of products involved. Evolution of transportation in Lagos is not very, very extensive, but very narrow, starting from the tram that was established on Lagos Island between Broad Street and Ido. If we remember that vehicular movement came into Lagos just very late in the 1990s. People were not moving so much because everything was around them. But when people in Lagos Island started crossing to Ido and building houses, Ido, Yaba, Ibutimeta, and many people were moving into Lagos. Many of them had no opportunities to build houses on the island anymore. So they started building houses extensively into Ikeja, into Shomolu, Ogba, and on and on as we have today, up to where you can imagine you can be today, into another territory of another government, Ogun State. People stay in Ogun State and come to Lagos to work and return. That is the evolution of transportation. tram built in Lagos. Gradually, bole carriages, that is locally made transportation vehicles with wood on chassis, and followed eventually by the introduction of built buses. The family started it with two buses, about 1990 something, 1923 or so. And J.N. Sapas, a foreigner, came in and said, and started operating imported buses. It's the J.N. Sapas that really introduced bus system into Nigeria from Lagos first. And Lagos Town Council acquired the buses from J.N. Sapas, and eventually, when Lagos became a city, Lagos City Council renamed that organization to Lagos City Transport Service. It was formerly from J.N. Sapas Transport Company to Lagos Municipal Transport Company, and finally Lagos City Transport Service, LCTS. And when the state government came in 1967, all the assets of Lagos City Transport Service, all the assets were transferred to Lagos State Transport Corporation. It is this Lagos State Transport Corporation that actually had been remodeled and remodeled and remodeled and remodeled until what we have today, Lagos Bus Services Limited. It went through various names. Continuity is a word that could be appropriate for the evolution of transportation through various policies. We had almost moved into the modern rail transit at a time, but it had to be stopped by the military government. However, the Babatunde Raji Fashola administration came back on that policy of the mass transit to say, yes, we still need it. And it was a priority issue for him. That is how we came about getting the government approving 7 rail lines, metro lines for Lagos. The 2 of them are being constructed now. The blue line along Badagry Express Route and the red line from Alagbado to Edo and subsequently to Marina. The policies, in my own view, had been consistent, except for breaks due to political infractions. Nevertheless, Many people in government in Lagos appreciate the need for public transportation, and they are ready at any given time to support modern transportation system for Lagos. Hence, we're having the Blue Line being continued in construction, hopefully to come into operation 2022. We're having the 4th Mainland Bridge being sponsored by the Lagos State government, hopefully to come into operation in another 3 years. Hence, we are having the bus system introduced by the last government. Also, that is why we have the BRT, which came into existence in Lagos as a result of the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP, being monitored by LAMATA, Lagos State Metropolis Transport Agency. LAMATA came into existence as a result of the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP, funded by the World Bank, and is doing a fantastic job for Lagos. So these policies have been there, as far as I'm concerned, and consistent, despite the hiccups here and there for economic reasons, for political reasons, and in some places for selfish reasons. It is hopeful that despite the hiccups, transportation system in Lagos will eventually get to the need required for a mega city. In transportation, we do not expect generation of revenue for the state, for the government. It is believed that transportation is a service expected to be provided by the government. Those who have been involved in evolution of transportation had always insisted that the government will provide the infrastructure and allow the private sector to do the commercial aspect of operations. In some countries, government have even allowed private companies to provide infrastructure where it may be necessary. But by and large, the government provides the infrastructure as part of the furniture for the beautification of the cities. Take the roads, take the flyovers, take the bridges, take the BRT, take the ferry terminals, take the bus terminals. They are part of the beautification furniture of various cities in the world. Many people would prefer to go to a train station and stay there from morning till evening because it provides the comfort, a little bit of shopping, a little bit of entertainment here and there. The same thing with the bus terminal. The bus terminal at Ikeja now is now a beauty for Lagos. The bus terminal at Racecourse is a beauty for Lagos. The ferry terminal at Marina is a beauty for Lagos. At Oworoshiku, same. And now the ongoing Yaba bus terminal. Therefore, transportation infrastructure in various forms help the development and beautification of cities all over the world. It just set the states back a little bit. It set us back a little bit, because if that project had been executed by now, commuters in Lagos will be enjoying reduced transportation time. Nevertheless, 2022 is right in the corner, when people will be able to travel from Agbara, or probably where the rail is finishing for now, at First Stack to Marina in less than 15 minutes. Whereas the journey will take you from First Stack to Marina presently for not less than an hour or two. The same thing will happen on the red line from Agbado to Marina. It will take commuters averagely less than an hour to do that, if that line comes to operation. Therefore, the effort of Alhaji Lateef Jakande, may so rest in peace, culminated in creating awareness into Lagosians that that is what is needed for you. And the young man who came in as governor, Babatunde Raji Safala, picked it up from there and followed it up to what it is. And we are happy that the two governors after Babatunde Raji Safala continue the project, which may start operation in 2022. If you want in-depth into the contract, the truncation, in my view, we leave that to researchers who want to write history, who truncated it, which administration, why. We leave that for analysis. But for ourselves as Lagosians and as Lagosians, indigenous residents, we have overcome that. Our metro lines is about to arrive in 2022. Let's enjoy that and leave the historians to go and search for the reports. The zonal system, the building of the headquarters. Lamata occupies that building now without paying due reference to Lagos State Transport Corporation. We built that headquarters, was built from the money saved during my administration of that corporation, because we were given the mandate by Governor Mudashiru, may so rest in peace, that LSTC will replace the buses from their own revenue and also do other things. So the board approved that we need a proper building because our administration was inside the workshop. So we saved money for that and also saved money to buy new buses. So we bought new buses from our revenue. We built that headquarters being occupied by Lasrab now, and we created the zonal system of running buses from Festac direct to Federal Secretariat in Ikoyi. Many old people will remember that. The buses will leave between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Carrying people to their various destinations. And between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., those buses will return to the same spots to carry the passengers back to where it carried them in the morning. And people enjoy that service so much that they will wait for LSCC buses in the morning to take them to their work. And when they close, they know that the buses will come and pick them. That was a very good and effective system that helped commuters in Lagos at that time. It is the best as at now. As we speak now, the transportation system in Lagos is the best that we can talk of in Nigeria. The evolution of the transportation had been very rigorous and consistent and leading to what we have as of today. The next step for the government, and it's on their program, integration of transport systems, to integrate the rail with the road, with the water. That is when residents in Lagos will be able to buy one ticket to join the ferry service at Ikorodu, come down at Marina in Lagos, join the bus from Marina to Victoria Island for work, or take the bus from Victoria Island, join the train at Marina, come down at Festac and take the ferry service along the water line to Ijegun. One ticket, and that is integration of transport system. That is the next stage in which the transport system in Lagos is going into. And I believe that may come up as soon as possible. I lectured between year 2006 and 2013. One, I found the experience very, very pleasing. It gave me the opportunity to be the first foundation dean of a faculty in a university, to sit down and prepare a curriculum for a whole faculty. It was a task that I cherished so much and had to defend it among professors, those who can be regarded as those who know their onions for the establishment of that school. I also enjoy my interaction with the Lagos State government in securing a faculty building for the School of Transport. I also enjoy my interaction with the students for the fact that the first set of students in the School of Transport went to America on education visit sponsored by the Lagos State government. Babatunde Raji Fashola provided 11.2 million for 22 students and 2 lecturers to go with them. And we spent about 10 days touring vital transportation units in the United States. Vital transportation units. The concept behind the education tour was quite clear to the government. Hence, they sponsored it. And what was the concept? The concept was that all medical students before graduation will have the opportunity at various hospitals to even see the dead body, to even perform operations. All law students will have opportunity to go to the court to watch how proceedings are done. What will a transport student claim to have seen while being a transport student? Will it augur well for the development of transport in Lagos if a graduate from LASU, BSc Transport Studies, cannot claim he knows that a plane flies, may not have even entered the plane, may not have seen a metro line, may not have seen a water ferry? And the concept said, yes, that's true. All these facilities are presently not available locally. And therefore, at the end of their 4th year in school in LASU, the government will sponsor them to make education tour into developed countries. And that was started in 2012. With 22 students, the first set, and 2 lecturers, including myself, that went on tour of the US for that. All these are parts of the thing I cherish during my stay teaching, establishing transport studies at LASU. That excited me so much. The man who was at the head of that organization, the very first person, may his soul rest in peace, I think he has passed on now, was my first contact. And I think I gave him my word that he should come, let us sit down and look at what I can provide. But he passed on, and I just got the news accidentally somehow, and I've never been in touch until the permanent secretary now in the Ministry of Information got in touch with me to request that I will help Lasrab for a project. I said, okay, fine. And when I eventually, the MD, the GM of Lasrab got in touch with me and said, this heritage series. I said, fine, you are welcome. But before the heritage series, come and see my library and come and see what you can take away. That's why you took what you took away. Civil servants remain the center, the pivot center for administration in Lagos. And there's nothing you can do about it. They have to be there and they have to work efficiently. I wish them well.
I want to at this point thank our daddy Tajudeen Olukayode Bawa-Allah for allowing us into his palace and for granting us this important documentation for posterity. On behalf of the Director General, we'd like to make a presentation of this flag to our daddy as part of showing of appreciation of this event. Thank you, Daddy. We appreciate it. I also want to put it on record that we have also instituted an award, even before now, that we know will be presented by the governor, by our governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, soonest, at any time that Daddy is ready. The letter has been signed, it has been acknowledged, and because he gave us some important documentation, books, informations that are useful for our archives. They are there already. It's not to be presented. He has presented them already, and he's still promising more for us. So, Daddy, you are wonderful. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I am grateful for this beautiful historic material being given to me today in appreciation of the little relationship Lasrab and myself established just a few months ago. I like to show appreciation to the Director General of this organization, Mrs. Bilkis Adebi Abiola, for the support he has given to everything that has happened in this relationship between Lasrab and my good self. I'm grateful. Thank you. I sincerely believe that more could still come from my library over to Lasrab for posterity to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.